Hey guys, welcome to our new video, and Sean's going to explain here quickly what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, so today we're going to be watching Avengers Endgame. Got us thinking about the previous MCU films. Thought we'd try and listen down in what order we liked them the most.
All 21 of them?
Yep, definitely 21, no more than 21, do not ask.
There may have been a problem with that, but we're not going to go into that.
Yeah, so yeah, we've got 21 films. We're going to try and mark them down in best to worst, see what we can come, well, worst to best in this case. So, John, what do you think?
So, starting with number 21, I put down...
We have a list. There's a lot to remember.
If it wasn't obvious. I put Doctor Strange. And I think Doctor Strange was absolutely awful. Now, I think
he wasn't a fan.
This might be a bit controversial because a lot of people like Doctor Strange, but for me it was just absolutely awful, boring, cliche, horrible humor, awful stereotypes, just shitty Chinese kind of... Okay, not that Chinese people are shitty, but... like shitty.
Yeah, you wanna be careful with that.
Shitty knockoff Chinese stereotypes, kind of like in Rogue Squadron, not Rogue Squadron, Rogue One.
Rogue One. Okay.
But I'm not gonna go into it more because obviously we ain't got that much time. But yeah, it was just an awful movie for me.
Okay, my worst film out of the entire bunch, I believe, was yeah. Sorry, I have bad vision. If you can't tell,
we need to talk about that.
Thor 2, mainly because it didn't really do anything. Okay, we got to see with the Dark World and all that stuff, but realistically the film didn't really do anything. It was the last we saw of Natalie Portman's character.
Oh yeah.
That didn't really go anywhere. It looked like it was going to go somewhere, but kind of didn't.
Nope.
You know, anything that was sort of developed in the film, you know, Loki supposedly died. He's brought back in the next film. We see him straight there. Everything that kind of happened was kind of a null point.
Yeah.
Nothing really carries over. The worst thing is, it was kind of forgettable. Because, frankly, does anyone really remember much about Thor 2?
Nope.
I haven't really
Christopher Eccleston.
Christopher Eccleston? Frankly, should have taken Doctor Who. Don't know why he's doing this one. Looking like some weird elf. It just wasn't that good for me.
Yep. So, moving on to number 20, I put down Avengers 2. Oh wait, no, that's your choice.
That is my choice.
So,
yeah.
Sean's gonna
So my choice. Avengers 2. Arguably, one of the worst sequels to one of the best films of all time.
Oh yes.
Frankly, it set up Civil War.
Yeah.
That was it.
That's it.
We dealt with Ultron. We got introduced to Vision. Even though in Infinity War he's kind of been destroyed. Again, we haven't seen Endgame yet. Don't know what the hell's gonna happen. I still don't know what his powers are, except for the ones he's shown us. I know nothing about what his abilities are, his weaknesses, nothing.
Yep.
And it's been how many movies with him in it?
Exactly. To a terrible movie, I agree.
It's just, like, there are funny moments in it. Don't get me wrong. It's always nice to see the cast interacting with each other. But frankly, not really a lot going on for me.
So for me, I put down 4-2. And obviously Sean's just gone over it.
There you go.
I'm not going to go too much into it. Just say that it was very boring. I can hardly remember the movie. I did like that Loki died. I mean, he didn't die, but it was kind of dramatic and...
Oh, okay. I was going to say, like, wow, Loki's one of the best characters.
Not that he died, but just the way that was done. And obviously they kind of played into that in later movies. Like, it was just a joke. It's a very kind of low-key mischievous thing to do. So that was good. But apart from that...
Really, one of those. It was just a disappointing film. Same problem with Avengers 2.
Yep.
Is the fact that, you know, Thor 1 wasn't the greatest film in the world, but it was a fun film.
It was serviceable.
And the fact is, you know, when you think about when they created these movies, no one had ever seen half of these superheroes except on the comic books. The regular moviegoer hadn't seen any of these things. So to make a film about a Norse god firing lightning at it from a hammer, and it worked, you know, to then have Thor 2 was just a bit of a letdown, especially because they showed so much of Asgard and yet it seemed so boring.
Yep.
Nothing was going on from it, so...
The whole movie was so drab and dark.
Yeah, I know it's called The Dark World, but it's The Dark World, not The Dark Worlds.
I think you guys went a little bit too much
Even the shots on Earth were of the greyest skies I've ever seen.
To be fair, it was set in London.
I know, but we have some blue. It's blue today.
Okay. So, moving on to number 19.
On your list.
On my list, I have Iron Man 3. Now, I think a lot of people actually like Iron Man 3, surprisingly. Because I remember people stating that, you know, we saw Robert Downey Jr.'s character Iron Man going down a darker route.
And the thing is, Iron Man 3 does show some very good chance for Tony Stark's character. His character develops a lot, especially after the events of Avengers. Which was
some of the good, and I like the idea that, you know, he got PTSD, like, wow, this is a serious thing. But I think the problem for me, which I have a problem with some of the later Marvel movies, is it just wasn't serious enough, and especially with the Mandarin. You know, I was hyped.
Whole thing.
Yeah.
For example, like with the Mandarin, the problem is if you're going to take something like the Mandarin,
a beloved character,
and the official statement was that there was no way to make him seem believably real.
Yeah.
The fact is, this film comes off the heels of Avengers 1, which shows, you know, the galaxy, space, as
all
like an
sorts of
entity
crazy
in the
ass
MCU
stuff.
happens. And then they go, oh, well, we weren't sure how to make his powers believable. You literally have a fire-breathing man in the film claiming to be the Mandarin.
Yes.
How does that make more sense tangibly than rings giving him powers from space?
It doesn't.
After Avengers 1, the whole thing
And
makes no sense.
not to mention the movie we're going to watch today has Infinity Stones. That's basically
on
Power
the
Rangers.
hand. Literally on the hand.
But yeah, just a disappointment of a movie. Didn't like it, man. That's why it ranks so low for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. For me, my pick on 19 is Guardians 2. And
yeah.
I know that there are some people that really like Guardians 2, and they think that it does a lot for Peter Quill's character. It was fine, but the main issue I had is it was full of cliches.
Oh, yeah.
For me. You know, I hate the whole, oh, father and a son, we're gonna play catch. It's just a cliche. And
They overplayed it sometimes.
They overplayed it. I get that they were sort of going like, hey, look, it's like that thing, but in space. Doesn't excuse you from doing it.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
the main issue with me about it is the fact that it was just predictable. They never exactly tried to hide the ego was the bad guy in the first place. It was never exactly hidden.
It was
We
obvious.
had the classic thing of sort of like, oh, you guys don't like my dad, but
Yeah.
he's my dad. You've
Yeah.
got to like him. Oh, Peter, we're not sure. We don't know what to think about it. I am Groot. It just, well, it's actually, no, it was Baby Groot in that one. That's another thing. Baby Groot can suck a dick.
I like Baby Groot.
I don't. I'm the kind of person that doesn't like the Ewoks in this franchise. I also don't like the Porgs.
An unfair
when
comparison,
Baby Groot,
in my
Hey,
opinion.
It's about merchandise and you know it.
But it was
Once they
cool.
saw that they could make little dancing Pop Groot into a little like bobblehead for the cars, they were like, oh, hang on a minute, we got a plan here. Let's make Baby Groot a freaking toy
I think luckily for you it didn't take off as much.
Yes, luckily.
That's
thank God.
good.
And then he quickly turned into adolescence in the later films, thank God for that. But frankly,
enjoyed
it
that
was
as well.
just... No. Wasn't for me at all.
So now on number... Which number were we on?
18?
18? Yes. No, we're on to number 18 now. Yeah.
That's what I just said.
We're gonna cut that out.
Yeah,
Possibly
no,
not.
We know when to cut this stuff. It's fine. We're editing.
Okay, so I've put
Number 18.
number 18, The Incredible Hulk. So he's not gonna like this one.
Go for it.
But basically, I watched this movie how many years ago is it now? 11 years ago. I haven't watched it since. I don't remember much about
That's
it.
a mistake. I'll tell you that right now.
But I just know that basically the Hulk and Bruce Banner, for me, they're Mark Ruffalo now. Edward Norton,
Yeah.
he's a good actor, but you know, I don't feel he really became Bruce Banner. And another problem with the movie was it's just very typical superhero fare, you know, big bad guy running away from the military. Ultimately, I think it's just kind of a forgettable movie, unfortunately. So that's why it ranks so low for me, nothing more to say.
I can understand that. I mean, when it comes down to it, they also have a villain that to this day hasn't really been used at all.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know what happened to Abomination as a character.
Yeah.
You know, Ross has been brought back into the MCU, but
Which
to what extent we haven't seen his daughter or
Felt
anything
a
to
bit
do with
weird.
that.
Yeah.
We also haven't seen anything that was going to happen to, I forget the scientist's name, but the one he was exposed to the chemicals.
Blockensky?
His head started...
Or is that the actor?
Maybe that. I have no idea. But you know, right at the end of the film, you see he's in his lab. It's getting destroyed after he helps create Abomination. And there's a chemical that spills into his head, which starts expanding his head. And you think, oh great, this is going to lead into one of the MCU's villains, and it hasn't
doesn't
gone
go
anywhere.
anywhere. No.
So it begs the question: it's another plot hole. Where has this character gone? What's happened? Is you know, as far as I know, the Incredible Hulk is still part of the MCU,
Luckily, yeah.
but it's being acted upon as if nothing in there happens except for Ross. So I'm really not sure what they're going to plan on it. Me personally, I really like the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
I'm not
you
going to
see
say
why
that
I
it's one of
put
my
it so low.
favorites. Yeah, I'm not going to say it's one of my favorite films in the MCU, but I certainly have a good time every time I watch it. I think the score's really good.
You've
I
watched
think
it more
that
than once?
Yes,
Okay.
I've watched it at least 5
Wow.
times.
You must be the only person.
No, it's a good film. Edward Norton does a good job with the character. I also think that Edward Norton's relationship with Bay, their relationship is actually really nice. I quite like the funny moment where you know, they're getting hot and heavy.
Yeah.
And he realizes, he can't do anything and risks turning to the Hulk. And I just think it was done in a quite humorous way.
Yeah.
You know, her little sort of like, Not even a little. It's just, I don't know, it's funny. The whole interaction between the two of them made them seem like nice, likeable character. Same thing that was going on with the Amazing Spider-Man films. Although they're not very good, the relationship between Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy in those films was actually one of the things that helped save the film for the most part for me, anyway. So, it's just, you know, when you have nice characters working well with each other, that's going to get me a plus. So.
And your rank for number 18?
My rank for number 18?
Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3! Problem with Iron Man 3, as I said, it's just the fact that the Mandarin is just shoddily just sort of thrown away, and they're like, oh, it's this other guy now. And
can we mention one thing?
Go for it. What?
They did a shout out to our hometown, but I'm not sure I want to mention our hometown, so...
Oh, yes! They did do a shout out to our hometown in returns to the Mandarin's actor.
Yes.
So that's a thing.
Yes.
That was a bit. Everyone in the theatre just sort of went, hey! And then that was it.
We're not going to say what the hometown is. We'll leave you guys to get
I mean, if you're a true Marvel fan, you should know, right?
True believers.
Anyway, yeah. So for me, Iron Man 3 just didn't live up to it. It's just a bit disappointing for me.
Yeah. Ultimately, describes the movie perfectly.
Yeah.
So we're now onto number 17, and I've put down Avengers 2.
Avengers 2,
which
Age of Ultron,
is not really that controversial of an opinion, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it's universally admired, universally acknowledged that Avengers 2 was not great after Avengers 1.
Even when it came out, the reviews weren't that positive. I mean, obviously, the reviewers tried to be a bit more biased towards Marvel, but even they couldn't hide it.
I think at that point everyone was still in sort of like MCU, oh, this is amazing. Yes. So, the initial reports were, it's great.
But I think, yeah, the overall feeling was that it was a disappointment, which you agree with.
Yeah, 100%.
I just remember coming out of that movie feeling like deflated, because I was looking so forward to it. The trailers made it look so good, it was looking serious, and then it just turned out into this whole blah mess.
And Ultron's such a cool character, and it was kind of just a big letdown. He was kind of made too comedic, didn't feel him too sinister. It was just...
And he felt a bit like a little... Can I say the word bitch? But
I mean, yeah, to be fair, when the characters were calling him just another Tony Stark, I mean, he kind of was. Yeah. He was just reflecting Tony.
It was not a big threat.
Not great. Especially after coming out of what we had with Loki in Avengers 1.
Oh, yeah.
You can't really match up with that afterwards.
Oh, no.
So what was mine one next? So my pick for number 17... Spider-Man Homecoming!
Controversial as hell. You guys are gonna love this.
So, if it isn't a little obvious, we like Spider-Man.
Yep.
Well, not that one. So Spider-Man Homecoming for me was problematic in the sense that I have a very specific view on how Peter Parker should be done. It's one of the reasons I didn't like Amazing Spider-Man, is I felt like the Amazing Spider-Man's version of Peter Parker wasn't Peter Parker.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be the uncool kid with all this, and the main problem with most when it comes out of Spider-Man Homecoming is there's no consequences. Everything happens to Spider-Man, everything seems to be fine.
Yeah, agreed.
Shop gets blown up, no repercussions. This happens, no repercussions. This happens, no. The only repercussion is Tony Stark comes in and takes the suit, which frankly in my head is already like, why has Tony Stark made the suit?
Yeah.
I get that there's a homemade suit. Why is his current proper suit a Tony Stark suit?
Yeah, feels a bit weird at the beginning of it.
For me, and I'll say this, Spider-Man 2 over here, that's my favourite Spider-Man film.
Amazing movie.
I'm a bit of a Raimi fanboy in terms of the Spider-Man films.
Same.
But that's because they embody the perfect Peter Parker Spider-Man combo.
Yeah, I liked how dorky Peter was.
And here's the thing, I'm not going to knock, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, I just don't think he's strong enough to hold his own film. In the two films that he's co-starred in, Infinity War and Civil War, I thought he was fine.
Fantastic, yeah, definitely.
I just don't think his Peter Parker can carry a movie. Simple as. It's just a disappointment film. For someone who was really hyped up for Spider-Man coming into the MCU, his first standalone film, granted we haven't seen Far From Home, that'll come eventually and we'll see how that goes, without all the Avengers everywhere. But for me, I just expected a lot more from the Spider-Man film, and it failed to live up to that for me.
Didn't live up.
Especially after the fact that we've had Spider-Man films in the past.
Yeah.
Just didn't live up to them.
So, number 16. For me, Iron Man 3. Oh no. Was it 2? It's... Gonna take a break here, folks.
It's 2.
We're just having a problem with eyes in general.
We're blind.
Yes. So,
Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2. Yeah, basically Iron Man 2, it came after Iron Man 1, it had a lot to live up to, but kind of lived up to it. It was, you know, good in some parts. We finally got to see War Machine, that was great.
That was cool.
Yep. I liked the change of actor. Terrence Howard was good, but I think you could definitely feel that he wasn't into the universe as much. He felt like he kind of looked down.
It's kind of one of those things where you're like, you can see he wasn't going to be
exactly
in the long haul if that was going to be the case. I mean, at that point, no one really knew it was going to be, but they were aiming for it, and he obviously wasn't grinding well.
He was just there for the paycheck, basically, and you can see that. So Don Cheadle, I think he was a much better casting. Iron Man 2 done some of the cool things, like the suitcase suits. So I really like that.
Yes, that was one of my favourite things about that film. Just seeing all the different iterations that we can get. And obviously moving forward, we've seen that helps bolster out all the different ways that he can get suits.
Yeah, exactly. Which
is always a visual spectacle in the Marvel films. So.
Exactly. So Iron Man 2, ultimately I feel it just served kind of to set up the later movies, you know, by having...
So number 16 for me, Doctor Strange. Put simply, visually stunning.
Oh yeah.
Kind of a bit dull at times.
A bit.
Dormammu was cool-ish.
Kinda.
Doctor Strange himself, bit of a dick. Kind of a bit of, not really an unlikable character, but kind of hard to warm up to. Warmed up towards the end, obviously, but for me, as introductions to characters go,
far better one.
I think I need to see more of him, basically.
Yep, agreed. So, down to number 15. For me, it's Guardians 2, and to be honest, I think Sean basically done a very good, you know, summary of why it's not that good of a movie. The only thing I'll add is it's just a disappointment after Guardians 1. Guardians 1 is we'll see later on. It's for me one of the best Marvel movies, and it was worse. Worse soundtrack, worse acting, worse humor.
One of the things that one of my siblings pointed out to me is that when they were showing trailers for Guardians 2, it was just the same trailer song for Guardians 1.
Yeah.
Kind of just trying to ignite the whole, look, it's this again! And it's, you know...
Tries to recreate everything. Yeah, so ultimately just quite bad, forgettable, and unfortunately the sequel falls all the way down here.
Yeah. For me, number 15, Thor 1.
Oh.
I still like Thor 1. Thor 1's a perfectly fine film. I'm not going to say it's a masterpiece or anything. But
I think we're in the goods.
Yeah, this is the sort of like, you know, not bad. Not amazing, but not bad films. Thor 1 for me, decent film. Introduction to the character, well done. There was a decent amount of humour there. Some of my favourite lines come out of Thor 1.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'll have another! It's just good. And we also get Loki, introduction to Loki. Frankly, he's one of the best things about the MCU, so...
Easily.
R.I.P.
So, now on to number 14. We're going for Sean's choice, Captain USA.
Ah, yes. The grand old Captain America. No. Yeah, no, Captain America, again, it's a film that I didn't think I'd like. I don't really like timepieces. Which, granted, you know, it's a superhero film, so it's not exactly going to be accurate. But, you know, it's set the past. Next film for you would be... number 14... Thor! There we go.
Yeah, so once again, as we were saying, we're now in the sort of so-so / good movies list.
Mediocrely kind of good list. We're going higher up, we're getting up there.
Yeah, I think it's a bit unfair. Maybe not so good, but good. Like decent, enjoyable.
Not amazing, enjoyable though.
And 4, as like Sean said, it's a good introduction to the character. Good world building, it was great to see Asgard.
Yeah, as you see, because my first introduction to Asgard, I don't know about you, Marvel vs. Capcom 3. We had the Asgard stage.
Yes.
Thought it looked gorgeous. Saw it in the film, was like, yep, that's it. That's Asgard.
It.
That is it.
And considering, obviously, you know, the material is quite a bit weird, it's very out there, it's like space Vikings. Marvel done a really good job of actually making that realistic, and for me, this is why it's here. It's, you know, a good movie, done a good introduction, and that's all I can say about 4-1.
And what I'll say, good side characters too. Completely forgot about that.
Oh yes.
Sith and all the rest of the gang, very good.
Very cool. So on to number 13.
Yeah, which for you is?
Captain Marvel.
Okay,
so my 13 is Captain Marvel. And we actually just saw that recently.
Literally on the last possible day we could, the day before Infinity War.
End War.
Endgame.
End War.
Endgame opened.
Yes.
So we were very lucky to finally actually get to see that. Otherwise, we'd be quite far behind.
We wanted to catch up completely.
Yeah. So thoughts on Captain Marvel?
So Captain Marvel, there was a lot of hate around it. There was a lot of hate around Brie Larson.
Yes, a lot of hate on Brie Larson.
A lot.
I think we agree that we're just toning that out and appreciating
Yes.
the films for what they are.
Yeah.
Don't really care what the actors are into.
Personally, I don't have an opinion on her. I don't think Sean has either.
Really didn't really know who the hell she was.
Me neither. I think I've seen her in a few things, but don't really care. But honestly, so ignoring all of that, Captain Marvel was enjoyable. It was good fun. I liked the 90s. It was Guardians-esque in that we had like a sort of retro soundtrack. It was good to see more of Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson. This is
Nick Fury was by far one of my favourite parts of that film.
Yes.
The second favourite part of my film was the fact that we heard the Game Boy noise in there.
Oh yes.
That was amazing.
Oh yes. That was spot on.
100%. That just made me go.
We're back in the 90s. Yeah.
So I was very happy with that.
And yeah, there was also good twists in the movie, so spoiler alert, obviously. Like the Skrulls becoming the bad guy, or rather becoming the good guys from the bad guys, that was good.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, it wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad like people say it was. I say go out there, watch it, it's a good movie.
Yeah, you'll get a lot of enjoyment out of it.
Oh yeah.
Next film for me, Iron Man 2.
Oh wow, you've got it high. Fuck me.
Well, it may have something to do with the fact that when I went and saw it, I saw it with a girl I liked. Okay?
Oh, fair enough.
Just saying. But no, Iron Man 2, I still thought it was a fun film. Again, I really liked the mechanics, you know, showing off the, you know, the suit thing, the suitcase, literally.
Oh yes, that does.
You know, I thought it was funny at parts as well, like seeing, like, you know, Iron Man just completely eradicate the Corp.
Oh yes.
In the opening sequence.
Yeah.
Was fantastic.
Yeah.
Very, very good after Iron Man 1. I enjoyed it, but I just didn't think it was as good as Iron Man 1. Because Iron Man 1 to me is one of the best.
Iron Man 1.
I think, you know, the fact that it's the start and people still rate it as high as they do shows how good Iron Man 1 is. And Iron Man 2, again, as a sequel, just didn't live up to it.
Yeah, which is a bit of a theme on this list, unfortunately.
Yep. For me, my next film on my list, number 12, would be Ant-Man 2. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Again, saw this recently, trying to catch up for Endgame. Yeah, Ant-Man 2. Again, after I saw Ant-Man, was expecting more out of the sequel.
Yeah.
I got a decent sequel. I got a very, you know, happy sequel. The problem with me is Ant-Man 1 was supposed to have Edgar Wright helping, and I like Edgar Wright stuff.
Big fan.
You know, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, all this other bits and bobs. And you could feel that within Ant-Man 1. And when it went to Ant-Man 2, I was worried that it would feel kind of...
like he's lost his identity kind of thing.
Like he doesn't know where to go after Edgar Wright left, because they still used a lot of Edgar Wright stuff for the original. And I'm happy to say it's still a really funny film.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's as I don't want to say it's focused, but it was missing something that Ant-Man 1 had for me. That's all.
So my pick's Captain America: The First Avenger. Now, as Sean was saying, he's absolutely correct. Captain America: The First Avenger is more of a timepiece movie. I'm not the biggest fan of timepieces either, but I do like historical movies, so this was a big plus for me. Now, obviously, a Captain America movie isn't going to be the most historical movie ever, but the World War II setting was a big plus for me. I think they captured sort of that look and feel of the 40s really well. The Hydra standing in for the Nazis, that was really good. The Red Skull was a great villain. But the problem Captain America: The First Avengers has is the problem that a lot of first Marvel movies has, is it's a bit bland. Now I think out of the first phase 1 Marvel movies, this is one of the better, you know, hero introductions. I think it's certainly better than 4-1. Not Iron Man 1, but better than 4-1 and The Incredible Hulk and the other ones. So that was a big plus for me. What do you think, Sean? Oh yeah. Yeah, I see. Oh wow. Those are some truly good words. I know you don't like the movie, but wow, that's just poetry right there. So, down to number...
11.
Number 11, breaking into the top 10 people finally.
Ironically enough, you're number 11. Ant-Man 2!
Wow, really close. This is probably the closest we get in terms of rankings in the list.
Yeah.
So basically Sean covered it. I think I'm a bit more positive towards it. Not that he wasn't, but just that I enjoyed it more. I thought it was really good. Not as good as Ant-Man 1, but it was a great movie. I really liked what they did. I think I'm a bit biased because surprisingly, the MCU has made me love Ant-Man as a character.
He is very good. As small of a character, pun intended, he's come into it as a new face and is very good.
And not just Scott Lang, but Hank Pym, the Wasp. They're all really great
Hank Pym is
characters.
fantastic
Yes.
in the films. Always fantastic.
Yep. And Luis, who's not even a bloody character from the comic books.
Yes, fantastic. By far one of the funniest parts of the film.
Exactly. So just seeing more of him and more of that universe puts Ant-Man 2 quite high. And as you can see at number 11, this is definitely one of the better Marvel movies.
Yeah. My next film, number 11, my number 11, Captain Marvel. Again, like we said, very positive film for me. Wasn't
Did we
expecting
just have
a lot
that
out of it.
interchanged?
What do you mean?
You had you had Captain Marvel below and above, so we just had like the opposite there.
I guess we kind of
Yeah, we did. Wow, crazy.
Look at that! Yeah, so for me, yeah, wasn't expecting a lot out of Captain Marvel. I heard wasn't expecting a lot from Captain Marvel. I heard a lot of backlash from Brie Larson. People did not like her.
Yes.
And people were reflecting that. I know that it got review bombed before the movie was released. And, you know, the whole thing, I went into it going, well, if it sucks, it sucks. Went in there, actually really enjoyed myself. Yeah. It was a very good film.
I was surprised.
Lots of little nostalgia, lots of the 90s, of which we grew up in.
Yeah.
It was just a fun film, which is something that, you know, after Infinity War, I think we all really needed fun films. And we got Ant-Man and the Wasp, which was a fun film, and Captain Marvel, which was again another fun film. So for me, I put it a little bit higher, but it's a good film.
So if you guys didn't mind all that rambling on,
which we apologise for, but what can we say? We're nerds. We're going to talk about shit.
That was our top 21 to 10 video, or rather 11.
Yep. We'll do in the second part. We'll do a top 10 to 1. We'll try and keep it shorter.
And
we'll try.
A bit more concise, better. But yeah, so hopefully that gives you a good idea. You'll probably be disagreeing with a lot of things there, but that's the kind of thing
that's
we
the
want to
point.
see.
You know, the idea is the comments are open for discussion.
Yep.
Anything you want to say about any of the films that you like, anything you think is we have garbage opinions.
Yep.
Let us know. Frankly, we only really talk between each other, so we don't know. So you know, let us know what you think. If you want, you can wait for the top 10 video we're going to do, or you can write down your complete list of the MCU films that you want to put down in your comments.
Completely ignore our top 10.
And completely ignore. You could write that Avengers 2 was actually the best Marvel film,
which you know, we would massively disagree with.
Massively, but you're entitled to your own opinion, even if it's wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, write whatever you want. Let us know how we're doing. We'll be back here with the top 10, and we'll try and keep the lamp down. We're brand new at this. We're trying.
We're getting
We're
better.
seeing what we can do.
We promise.
But yeah, so thanks for listening to us ramble for however long this is, and
exceedingly a long amount of time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, at least it wasn't as long as Endgame.
Okay. So do you remember where you were?
Did I just finish talking about Doctor Strange, or?
Sorry, I just can't see. That could be a blooper. Why? Why? That's going as a blooper.